I just a week ago publicly posted on my Instagram that I have sold my business. I didn't say the ins and outs wins. I just said, this is where I'm at. And let's go.
Welcome to the Know Your Ship podcast, presented by eHub. I'm your host, Frank Dolce.
So I started my business 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Fawn Design.
Fawn Design, 12 years ago in January. And spoiler alert that I just made this information public 2 weeks ago. I sold my business. But the also funny, cool, I actually sold it a year and a half ago and have been just working in it still, just not as the owner, just, still doing a lot, very involved. And part of that was, the new owner is like one of the best people I've ever met, truly. Just a stud, good dude. Like, I want to gush about him for 1 second because I've met so many terrible people in business, right? And I've just had so many actually like really hard, not good experiences. I've had lots of good, but not good. And the thing that I love about him is the way he does, one thing is the way he does everything. So he like walks the walk, talks the talk. And I now have over 2 years of evidence of like, this person is who he says he is. He acts how he is. And I think that has been a cool thing recently, is to just be so delighted by that choice I made of like, I had multiple choices. I've had multiple choices in 12 years. And I'm so glad he's who I picked, because he's allowed me so much space to do what I want to do and not do what I don't want to do. And so what's been really cool is 2 weeks ago, I've been feeling this feeling of it's time for something else, but I don't know what it is. I have some ideas, but it was just like this overwhelming feeling of it's time. It's finally time. And for months I stewed over, how am I going to have this conversation with him? Because he bought the business with me still wanting to be part of it. And it was just so amazing just a couple weeks ago to be able to just say to him like, hey, here's where I'm at. And him to literally be like, go, do what you need to do. And he literally said, you tell me what you want your role to be here and your capacity here, because I want whatever I can have. And what? Like I needed that so bad, because it was like this, I built this business, literally like enmeshed it with my identity. And to have someone like hold so much space and give me that permission and runway to be like, go fly. Like so cool. So you're catching me in this space where I just a week ago publicly posted on my Instagram that I have sold my business. I didn't say the ins and outs wins. I just said, this is where I'm at. And let's go.
So is this like an inflection point in your life or career? Is it a pivot? What would you describe this as, this particular moment?
It actually feels like life is inviting me to do something different.
Okay. I want to talk to you about that.
Please.
So I think that I'm going to treat this podcast a little bit differently than I treat.
Let's do it. So now I'm going to, can I sit like this?
You sit
I'm literally like, let's.
Yes. We have a lot of experience with people who run businesses. And there's a lot of similar stories about running a business, like the sacrifices, the challenges, the late nights, the making hard choices about work and family and balance and all of those things. And I think your experience, the way that you've managed it, may be unique. And I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah. I think.
And the lessons that you've learned along that way. But I also want to ask you about, since you mentioned the partnership that you have now with should I call him the new owner?
Yeah, he's the owner.
Okay.
He's the full owner.
So I want to know, and I think people would like to know, well, like eHub is going through this right now about thinking about, do we want to take on a partner? We've been bootstrapped for 16 years. Like, do we want to now take on a partner and really push growth? We're in a good spot. But the hard thing about taking on a partner, it's just like dating and how do you, everybody said, nobody's as good as they are when they're dating. Everybody says the right thing and you try to do all the background, but when you make the decision, it's like, wait a second, did I make the right call?
Yeah.
And so I'm really curious about this partnership you have and how you made the right call.
I think why it worked is because he actually had, I mean, I can't speak for him, but at least from my perception, he had no plans to try and buy my business. That was never, like, that's not how we connected. That, like, we had a very, like, professional business friendship, mutual friends, like, we knew each other, we had, but, in the hindsight, didn't actually know each other very well. But before we, like, leading up to even selling the business, we actually had so many months of working together on things that had nothing to do with selling him the business. So it was kind of like, it actually just kind of naturally evolved into that after he gathered data and I was gathering data. And then, but it still fully was, there was a moment where I knew, like, this is a risk. Like, this could be the best decision you make, but it also could be the worst decision you ever make. And that, I'm actually glad we're talking about this, because I don't think hardly any people in my life understand that back in 2 years ago when that's the choice I was sitting with. And I was sitting with it not completely alone, because my husband and I have done the business together, but it felt really lonely. Like, it felt like such a big choice, but it felt like my life was saying, it's time to make a choice. Like, it is time. So what's it going to be? And it was very much like, I'm just going to go off of this data that I've gathered about this person for years in a way, but then recently, and I'm just going to trust. I'm going to trust. And I didn't really realize at the time that's what I was doing, was trusting myself. Because now I have the clarity. Then I didn't. I really didn't. I was like, I'm not 100% sure this is right. But I just was like, I know it needs to be different. This feels really good as I feel like it can feel, considering where I'm sitting. Because I don't think, how could I ever feel 100% good about selling the business that I built from my kitchen table when I was 21 with no money and literally no plans to start a business? How could I ever fast forward 12 years and feel prepared to make that choice?
How much of it was data driven? Like spreadsheets, this all looks right, the numbers line up. How much of it was, like you said, it felt right, gut feeling, whatever it was that led you down that path?
I can honestly say, I think it was 50-50. I think I felt 50% like I have the data I need to support this decision. And then the other 50% was like, this feels good. Like, it doesn't mean it doesn't feel scary, but it feels good. And I could sit and argue that maybe the numbers aren't actually great, or I can sit and I could have sat and argued, but I think there was a level of clarity of, like, with what I'm sitting with, this feels right. I don't know why it feels so important to me to articulate to people, though. It's not like I was like, I'm 100% sure. No, it was like, I'm enough sure that this feels right. And I'm just going to trust my life and trust me for actually feels like for the first time in my adult life, I fully trusted myself.
I've heard you mention that before, like having this thought of maybe you weren't good enough, or maybe you weren't going to accomplish a lot or be successful or whatever those things are. And now you're talking about not trusting yourself.
I've lived most of my life not trusting myself. So I think that's why it feels so good to be in this spot of having so much self-trust, not that I'll always make the right choice, but I will always stand by my choices and stand by the fact that I know if I'm not happy with a choice, I can make amends and I can make a change. And that is what is fueling me in such a cool way in my life right now, is like, I don't actually have to make the right choice. That's not the game we're playing. It's a lot of just make a choice. Make the best choice with what you know, and then trust yourself, trust your life. And what's so cool is, how old am I? 33. I have 33 years of experience of actually how much I have shown up day in, day out, even when there were so many days where and I know this is heavy and scary, days where I've wanted to drive into a cement barrier on my way to work because I'm like, this is too much. This is too heavy, too hard, too demanding, not just the business, right? All parts of life. And when you have the literal weight of your entire life on your shoulders, there are times where I literally am like, I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. No way. No way. Life is asking me to be stronger than I can be. And now, though, right, I have 33, almost 34 years of proof that I am strong. I am capable. And I've been in environments that did not make me feel that way. But I've now learned that no, that is my truth. I show up. I don't give up. And that matters. That matters. That's so much.
Absolutely.
That's enough.
I don't want to leave this because I think it's really interesting and I want to know how you've
But
dealt
people
with
need
that.
context. We literally got to the gold without setting a stage.
Don't worry, there's
terrible
more.
Storytelling.
No, this is great storytelling. People tell stories like this all the time.
Yeah.
The movie opens and it's the ending scene and they're like, how did they get there? And then, you go through the whole
Flashback. So should we go back? Should we flash back?
We're going to flash back. Yes, we're going to flash back. And here's one other thing you mentioned that I want to talk about. You can manage this however you'd like.
Sure.
You mentioned partnerships in your past that maybe weren't satisfying or fruitful or whatever.
The word I would say is actually this: relationships that were transactional, but I didn't know that.
So it was transactional on one side. You managed it differently than the other side.
Because I lead my life with my heart, always. And this is why sometimes I'm like, I'm bad at business, is because I care at a probably an unhealthy level. I connect so deeply with what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And one of the nice things I will say about doing business this way is I do trust that money comes because I've seen it, but it can be really hard because you're like, it's finding that balance of when to hustle, when not, when to lead with your heart, when not, right? And very young, I think was my early entrepreneurial struggle, is knowing when you should lead with your heart and when you should actually lead with, no, this is a transaction. This is a business. This is a business choice. Mm-hmm. And for someone like me who had no plans of being in business, starting business, nothing, I think I felt really unequipped to manage some of these types of relationships because I had no one really setting the stage, or for me, a North Star to be oh, this is what a consulting relationship looks like, or this is what an employee to right-hand person should, or boss to employee, all these things. I never have worked a corporate job. My work, I worked at Jamba Juice in high school. I worked at a dry cleaner. I worked at Joanne Fabrics. I worked for a dentist, and I started my business. So I have such little in a business, being an employee experience. And so I feel so much of my experience is literally trying to play business, right? Playing house. I'm I'm trying to play business. I'm trying to do the thing that you're supposed to do. And I have no one showing me at all how it's supposed to look. And then I think there were times along the way where I was looking to the wrong people to show me, right? But I didn't know that at the time. So no regrets, but it's made me very, very aware And now I can actually look at those even relationships that I would peg as like really gnarly hard, had a lot of bad feelings for a long time, as such a gift and like no hard feelings. And even the amount of people in the last month that I have reached out to, texted to like almost like clear the air in a way where I'm like, I feel like our relationship ended funny, or we had this thing. And I just want to say that like, I'm fully sorry for my contribution to that, but I'm so grateful for our time together because it taught me so much. And unfortunately, those negative ones, right, are teaching me how I don't want to do business, who I don't want to do.
And that's, I mean, I think that can be just as valuable.
Yeah.
So if you're like, just take yourself. If you managed relationships on a transactional basis and not on a relationship basis, how would you feel about yourself?
But I think what I've learned, right, is there's some people, some situations where you might feel called to approach it emotionally, but that's not actually the container it's in. It's meant to be transactional. So then you can step back and go, okay, if that is true, if this is transactional, how am I going to do it? Because I'm just naturally going to go, oh, I'm going heart first. Hard to do in business. Not impossible, but definitely I think that's doing it harder.
There are transactional relationships.
Sure.
I'm in the relationship business. Like that's been my whole
But you
career.
learn, right? How quickly.
And there are times when I'm on much more on the relationship side and the other is much more on the transactional side. And maybe you can find some common ground, but I would hate to live a life completely on the transactional side. That's not meaningful, even though sometimes you get destroyed. Like you get hurt and it doesn't work out well for you and you see someone else having success because of this transactional nature. But I don't want to be that. That doesn't feel good.
Well, and I think what's cool is to realize it actually is such a gift when you let yourself get curious about people and how they work and why they're there, to then that at least has helped me put on that hat of, this is someone I need to treat a little more transactional.
Sure.
That's their capacity.
Absolutely.
But I forget that not everyone's operating on my same capacity. And that's what I've had to learn with managing people is like, and it sounds silly and basic, but like different people require different things. But seeing that in practice and how that actually works in a business, like you can't really explain that to someone. It's literally like you have to be in it to be like, this makes sense now. And like I'm like trying to think how I want to say this so no one can figure out who I'm talking about. So I might like, okay.
It might be a little cryptic.
Yeah, I'm going to be cryptic. I'm not meaning to, but it's more because I'm like, I respect privacy so much. I'm like, it's like I'm an open book, but also so private. Like, how does that? Anyway, but I'll just say there's a business relationship that I just recently really understood what it was and what it wasn't. And oh my gosh, how that was so healing. Because I've been beating myself up about how things panned out and what I didn't do and this or that. And then to just feel like, oh my gosh, like, no, you led with your heart. And and that person, like you in their life were a transactional relationship. And yeah, it feels crappy. But actually, I'm like, oh, but I'm so proud. I'm so proud because I was me and I led.
That's right.
Instead of shame, right? Where I've been carrying a lot of shame about this particular thing because I'm like, the way this person's interacting with me now, they feel like it seems like we're not good. And I'm over here like, why aren't we good? What can I do? And then to be able to be like, wait a sec. It's actually not that we're not good. This was a transaction. That transaction is over. And that's okay.
Yeah. And on the relationship side, if you're a relationship person, it's hard to recognize. Sometimes it's hard to recognize.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just don't want to recognize.
So I was going to say, I literally was just about to say, you don't want to believe it.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel taken advantage of. But when you're like, when you can put on that hat of, that's not at all what happened. Like that like two things can be true. That person can treat your relationship transactional and they can still like you and hope for the best. Sure. And they're like, that doesn't transactional isn't bad. And that's what I think the switch I've had to make, and why I'm literally so hungry for the next thing, because I feel like I have a 12-year roadmap of how to do it well. And also, here's some things I'm not going to do again. Yeah. Or here's some, like, I'm going to peg that transactional thing. That's going to be one of my things when I hire someone. I want to figure that out before I hire them. If like, and I know I maybe won't be able to fully, but to just be like, that will help me lead this person. Because if I understand kind of how they tick and why they're here and what they want to get out of it, cool, let's go do it then, you know?
Okay, now we're going to go back to I think all of that is super insightful. So I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you talking about all of that. I want to go back to the beginning. You started your company when you were 20, Fawn Design?
So I was 21.
Would you say and so after 12 years, now you're in a transitional period,
I got
which is exciting.
My hands in some things, you know, but I'm just very much in that's why I said, I'm like, you're actually like this moment in my life initially felt so scary, but right now it feels so good. When I'm just letting it be, I'm just like, wait, I can have so much fun right now. I can have so much fun right now.
Is that such a weight off your shoulders when you can get to that point? I think a lot of us are in the daily grind and you just don't, don't ever get to that.
You know what though? I need to rephrase that, because I get to have fun in this area of my life in a way that I haven't been able to have in a long time, right? Because I've been like, Fawn is my life. Fawn is my job.
And you're Fawn. Like it's hard to separate the two.
It's so hard to separate. But so like the heaviness, the grinding, all that's still happening in my personal life very much so. Like I have 3 young kids. Like I've got a house, I've got a husband, I've got so I still am feeling the intense squeeze of reality, but I have this pocket of like, wait, I get to get really curious. I get to talk to people. I get to literally say, what do you want to do next? And it's not because, I have all the money in the world and time. No, I don't. I don't necessarily want to sit in this spot very long, because I'm a doer, right? But I do need that time to gather information, to think, to ponder, to explore. And that's that's where I'm at. And I'm kind of like, I have a timeline. I'm not going to share it out loud, only because I want permission to let that ebb and flow. And if I say it out loud, that now becomes, becomes like a to-do. But I have it in my head. And so that's what's really cool, is to then give myself permission in this container. And I talk about containers a lot. I'll say that so much. That's how I think of my life. Yeah, that I'm like, wait, but this container is really fun. And I'm glad I get to sit in it.
So what are your containers? Like, is family a container? Work is a container?
Yeah.
Is it separated like that, or am I thinking?
No, it is. I look at, I'm very visual how I think and how I process. And for whatever reason, the second I actually, I had my mentor right now helped describe this container analogy to me. And it felt like, wait, you just explained how I'm trying to live and explain to people, and I didn't have the right words. So once I did have this word container, it really helps. It helps me know where to put my feelings, my thoughts, my actions, because I'm someone who I go 1,000 miles an hour. My thoughts, I have very, very intense ADHD, OCD, not OCD like touching doorknobs. My OCD is mental with thought loops, right? And everything feels extremely important. So when someone asks me, what feels important to you right now? I'm like, how much time do you have? Because I have about 10 that feel urgent right now. Just stuff.
Life.
Just stuff. Open tabs.
Okay.
Open tabs. And so being able to articulate, someone like me needs containers. I need landings. I need places to put these things and systems to keep track of them, so that I'm not feeling like I have to keep track of them or holding them all. And for 12 years, I've been keeping track of them all and holding them all, or trying to. And that's why I've constantly felt behind, constantly felt like a ball's going to drop, watching things get dropped, and being just like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do this thing called life? Why is it so much harder for me? And literally it's because, you're neurodivergent. hate to break it to you, like, so you do life on a little bit of a harder mode than some of your peers. But I could argue now that's my superpower because I have an endless amount of ideas. I see patterns, I see problems, and I want to fix them. I am delighted fixing them. I was born wanting more, wanting to see more, feel more, talk more. And a lot of my life, that was really pegged as you're too much, you want too much, you need too much. And now that I feel a little more mature, I'm actually realizing like, you were never too much. You were in containers that were hard to hold you and hard to nourish you. And it's actually why I have so much love and respect for my parents, because they didn't know the container I needed. We didn't know about any of this like ADHD stuff I've dealt with since I was 8, truly. They didn't know. And it was like actually cool. A couple weeks ago, I was having a conversation with my dad, and I literally like explained to him the umbrella of being that neurodivergent and what that looks like and what that means. And he literally had no idea, right? He's like, I know a little about ADHD. I know a little bit about autism. I know a little bit about OCD, but like to realize like, no, there's this actually massive umbrella and so many people fall under it, and so many people fall under it so extreme. Like their ADHD is so wild.
They call it the spectrum, right?
The spectrum. I know. And it's like, we hear these words, but I think like there's so many people don't actually visually understand what that means. And so it's like, I fall under this umbrella, but I'm not on the spectrum over here, right? I might be over here, but it still means like I have similar needs to someone over here. I need similar support, not the intensity, maybe not the amount, but there's extra support that I need. And I feel like on hard mode, what's actually urgent, what actually needs my attention in this moment, and what can just flow. Not every idea is a good idea. Like, I think, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas. They're so good. It's like, I bet half of them are good. But like, just because you have an idea. They all feel good and really important. Good. Yeah.
One of the challenges is, I don't disagree with you. And I'm probably on the side of, that isn't urgent. Like,
I know.
Is that really urgent? Do I have to? But you're also find yourself in situations where the other side feels like that is 100% the most important thing that you need to do right now.
Well, and I can tell you how I think you solve for that.
Tell us.
Is being okay with living in seasons, right? Like, I think it's so cool that we have seasons in Utah, and we have calendars, and we have these containers, if you will, of when you should care about what. And I think that's where part of that getting very introspective is understanding what season of life am I in? Because then that helps you. Is this a season for growth and change and making more money? Or is this a season of, let's relax a bit. Let's focus fully on my kids having XYZ from me emotionally. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and there are some seasons that last very long, right? And there are some seasons that are for a very short time. But that is how I've started to live much more the last, I'd probably say 3 years of trying to trust myself in the season I'm in, and also just be really aware. So like right now, right? The beauty of where I am, I'm in a season of curiosity. So I'm going to protect my curiosity at all costs. But pretty shortly after curiosity is going to be, it's time to run. It's time to sprint. It's time. I don't like the word grind. I don't like the word hustle. I don't have a better word, but that is what's next. Is that I know this from the seasons of my life.
I was just curious about why you don't like grind and hustle.
Grind and hustle to me feels really negative, feels very white knuckling. And I refuse that now going forward in my career to white knuckle when I build. Refuse. I want to have a lot of fun. And if I'm not having enough fun, it's not all fun, but I need to have enough And so to me, grind, hustle, those don't sound fun.
Well, okay. I have two thoughts about that. One is I resonate with grind. Like to me, that means I don't view that as a negative.
I want to hear this so bad. So
as like you're putting in the work. Like by doing this work, I'm going to be a better person. Yeah. I'm going to be able to show up better. I'm going to be a better example to people who look up to me. Yeah. Like, I feel like when you say you're on the grind, like you're in it. Like, let's go. Everybody get on board.
It's so funny because I think it's just word choice, right? Where when I told you, right, I'm so visual. I learned recently that not everyone thinks this way. That like when I have thoughts, they're actually like pictures or movies almost. Like when I'm watching a movie in my mind.
Did you ever see Drops of God? Have you seen that?
No.
Okay.
Is it sounding like that?
Don't forget what you're going to say, but there's this movie.
Put that on my tab to not forget.
Drops of God. It's about these sommeliers and this one particular character who is a genius at understanding wine. When she tastes wine, it's like she sees everything, the taste, and that's how they demonstrate it. Like this whole scene and that's how I'm envisioning the way that you.
And even when you're talking about that, I'm like, immediately need to watch that movie because to me, I'm like, I know I'm going to see so much of my process in this film. I can just already tell by the way, because too, like, I love having these micro, like, obsessions with something. So it's like even taking a sommelier who's like, their obsession is wine. And they want to tell you about it and they want to talk to you about it forever. I'm someone who's like, bring it. I want to hear it. I want to hear everything about it. Even if I'm like sober, whatever. I want to hear all about the wine. Tell me all about it. Tell me what it's like. And that's why even with, the founder, right? I pop into his office and what am I saying? Tell me about this. I want to know all about this. And that is to me like life is just so good when you're just like, tell me more. I want to hear more. I want to know more. I love it. I love it. So to me, when I hear the word grind and I visualize it, I'm thinking of this. You're grinding. And I'm just like, ugh. So to me, I'm still doing what you're saying of like, a good friend of mine gave me that phrase of bringing your A game. And I love it because I'm like, I love sports. So any sport analogy like helps. And I'm like, oh, I want to be on the team that brings their A game. I want to be the person who brings their A game. And fun fact, I bring my A game most days because that's important to me. And so again, how do you know? It goes back to this self-trust, to know yourself enough to know today is a day to grind. Today is a day to hustle. Today is a day to rest. Today is a day to nourish. But like, my A game probably looks to a lot of people like the way they grind, and the way they show up.
Yeah.
I just call it different.
I think maybe you could label it differently.
Yeah.
But the way I describe grind, maybe you showing up with your A game.
Yeah. And like the way you said that, I'm like, yes, that makes sense. So that's why I struggle with the word because I see why so many people use it. I think for me, I'm like, it's just not the word. But what I will tell you, my philosophy in life and with each day, I say, how can I make this day better and more beautiful? I care about beauty in the way of how something makes you feel because of its beauty. Yeah. So I look at life that way of how do I make this better, more beautiful? And in regards to people, I feel the same way. How do I leave this person better than I found them? I literally, that is my goal when I interact with humans is how do I leave this person better than I found them? And the challenging thing, right, is that is what I crave.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask you, does that come from a spot of that you want that? You need that. You want someone to leave you better.
Yes.
That's
and
super
to see me,
to
see me, the thing that is, I think, so amazing is having that need isn't selfish, and I think giving yourself permission to show up in the world that way even if you want that back, that doesn't mean you doing it feels like you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like I'm treating you this way so you do it back. I genuinely am treating you this way because that is my philosophy. I think that's how I should move through life. But it is my heart saying, I want to lead this way because that's how we feel
That's what
it.
you desire.
And I feel so much love when I can gas someone up. That makes me feel so much love in my heart. It's like, it really is my absolute favorite thing in the world to do. And I want to do it all day. I really just want to like help people be seen and understood and help them solve their problems and make life a little more beautiful and have so much fun. Like, that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, I love this. I'm certain that we've never done a podcast where we've gotten so much.
And we haven't talked about my business at all.
Yeah. And I was just going to say that. So you're going to have to promise me we're not going to get to it today.
We
this
can't.
Is part one.
This is so important.
This is part one. We're going to do a part two, and we can talk about all of the
nuts and bolts, because that's
business stuff, which is fascinating.
And I have I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have so much wisdom when it comes to that.
And that's going to be part two.
Yeah.
We're gonna dissect all of that.
Let's leave everyone hanging.
Cliffhanger.
Because this is marketing 101. So let's just.
We're going to wrap this up.
If you want to know more.
Yes. But I have one more question as we wrap this up, because I think this will be a good transition into part two.
Yes.
Actually, I have two more questions.
Yeah.
One is completely off the reservation.
Do it.
Like, it's just.
Please.
You have.
Oh, are you seeing the Snoopiness? Or the peanuts?
You have a Snoopy.
He's seeing all my peanuts.
You have a Snoopy tattoo, and you have Charlie Brown socks on.
And
am I missing something?
And I have no. You're seeing me in all my glory. And I have a Snoopy phone case, and I have a Snoopy phone. A home phone is Snoopy. My philosophy with Snoopy, if you watch Peanuts, he's just doing whatever he wants. He's doing whatever he wants, does not care, so unbothered. But then he also has this side that he's, so emotional and dramatic. And so for me, I've loved Snoopy always. My dad read the comics. Like, it's always been there. But for me, Snoopy helps me not be so intense. It reminds me to just be a little silly, be a little just not take life so serious, or myself so serious. I actually, in my Instagram, in my bio, I have it says I take life serious, but not myself. And that comes from The Alchemist, I believe, that book. Great book. Love it. Short read. Everyone read it today because it's so good. Today. But that Snoopy to me embodies that. I take life so serious. I think life is very important. But I don't want to take myself so serious all the time. I need to chill out. I'm really intense.
There's a healthy balance.
There's a healthy balance, and it's hard for me to find it. And so for me, a physical reminder of let's just have a little fun. Come on. I know my dad is going to listen to this. And when he hears that story of this tattoo, I promise you my dad will go, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
Will this bring tears to your dad's eyes? Will any of this?
I don't know, actually.
It's hard because when your kids achieve as a parent, this.
Yeah.
It's hard not to just well up with this stuff. My dad, it's so funny, he's gotten so emotional the older he's gotten. That's the other thing.
I know. What? My dad was not an emotional guy growing up, but now he's kind of a baby. And Dad, I say that because I love you. And I actually, I love this version of my dad so much because it's a softness that I think suits him well. Yeah. And I hope he has permission to lean into it more because it's a good place for him. So I don't know. But, I feel like I've talked about my dad so much today. I have a mom who's amazing and a stepmom and all these parents. So I hope they know I love them too, because they all listen to the things I do. They support me. They're showing up. And I've had a very larger than life career in a lot of ways. And I think all of us have like, how do we navigate this? This is like crazy.
Crazy.
And we've gotten to a good spot where I do feel so much love and support for the decisions I make, the things I do. And I feel like maybe why my dad stands out is because him and I have had the most friction of, well, I don't even want to say that because I'm like, no, I've had a lot of friction, right? But like I think it was that understanding we actually are so similar. And maybe in this moment, in this time in my life, he's who I actually am leaning on him a lot, because the perspective he gives me a lot that is so helpful is that I'm not behind. I constantly feel like I'm behind in life. And he gives me that perspective to be like, you actually have no idea how ahead you are compared to, if we're just even comparing it to your peers. He's like, you're light years ahead in a lot of areas in your life. And let's even take financially off the table. Life experience, emotional experience. Like, I've lived a lot of life in my 30 years. And I feel like I lean on him a lot right now because I need someone who will allow me to move a little slower. I need time.
I mean, I feel like you don't give yourself enough credit.
Oh,
Like,
you're so nice.
You've done so many things, but that desire to always go it's hard to.
It's intense.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to get around that. Okay, so let me just ask you this one last thing, and then the next time we talk, we're going to dive into Fawn Design.
Yeah, I would love to.
And to what you're thinking about doing moving forward, and I know that's exciting. Okay, so you talked about your why, like, why are we doing this? Why am I here? What are we doing? Did you find your why in Fawn Design?
What a beautiful question that I want to think about that question.
Perfect. That's
for
great.
So long.
Love it.
What I was hoping you were going to ask me was, can I tell you what I was hoping?
Yes. Yeah.
So where does eHub fit in this? That's literally what I wanted to be teed up to be like, and what does this mean with eHub? Because I'm like, I have so many thoughts of like just learning what I learned when I walked in here of what an amazing tool it is. I'm gassing eHub up right now because it's deserved, and I feel so incredibly grateful for this opportunity to be sitting here and have this conversation with you and have this conversation recorded. So because I think it'll be cool in a year to listen to me and know where I am and have actual record of where I was. So I want to actually like ball out for a minute about eHub because I walked in here and I'm like, tell me what you guys are doing here, because I like it. I like how I feel when I walk. I felt such a good vibe. And I think realizing like there are so many businesses that I know right now who could use eHub from this, when we're talking about being a founder and doing so much and efficiency is everything. And where I'm like, the amount of people I can think of right now who could use eHub because the efficiency thing they're struggling with is actually costing them a lot of money. And I've lived that. If we want to get into the shipping and fulfillment world that I built within my business, we could talk about that forever. But I do think realizing what a cool business and actually was providing so much value for people, and I see it and I feel it, and I'm kind of like, can we just let's put gasoline on it and get it to everyone.
We feel
right?
Very much the same. And you're so nice and so thoughtful.
I mean that with my whole heart.
For saying that. Thank you. That is very, very nice. We feel like our carrier orchestration strategy is super meaningful for people who are moving, shipping EV products around, for efficiency, for savings, for all of the things that you've probably struggled with. By the way, this isn't a commercial for eHub. It turned into that.
I know. No, but and I know you were probably like, why are you bringing this up? But it's because I think people need to understand there's so many ways to do business. And the fact that you guys have chosen this as a valuable piece to the business, when it's like, how can you even really track if this makes any money? It might not. But the cool thing to me is I see it for what it is. I see it for we're trying to connect And I'm like, a brand at this size, that is still an important pillar. I'm like, I will shout you for the rooftops, because that to me is how you do business well, is finding that connection. It's so important.
That's very thoughtful and I think insightful as well.
Yeah.
I think that has been part of our secret sauce is, you know, all of this stuff, all of the technology is great, and all of the platform and processes and all of that's great. But we feel like our greatest strength is connecting with our customer.
Yeah.
And that's where we build our most meaningful.
Well, you guys walk the walk and talk the talk. So there you go.
That's very thoughtful. Okay, now.
What are we ending on?
Are you going to think we're ending it on this?
Can we end on that question so I can come back?
Absolutely.
Because that feels like a really important answer that I do not want to. I don't want to say what I don't actually want. Like, I want to say what I mean.
You want to be thoughtful.
I want to journal.
And if we've learned anything about you from today, you're thoughtful.
No.
You're a thoughtful person. You're thoughtful in the way that you approach your business and your life, and you're thoughtful in the way that, I think maybe most importantly, the way that you approach people. I love this thing about you that is questioning. I want to understand everything about you.
Yeah.
And I bet people can kind of feel put off by, like, why is she asking me so many questions?
Yeah.
Why does she want to know so? But it comes from such a space
of so much love. And I'm like, if I know you, I can love you. I can know how to love you. And that's important to me. I want to know how people want love.
Yeah. I think that's a great place to end it.
Yeah.
Right there. Okay.
Thank you.
Come back and see us. Don't get too busy.
I'm literally going to take an office. So anytime you need me, I'm just going to be right there because I want to live here. So
do it. And bring your husband.
Yeah, he's great.
We'd love to. Cole. You know what? I think it might be interesting. Okay, we're doing part 2 with you, but I think we should have Cole come on.
Yeah.
And kind of provide his
especially the Fawn side and being a husband-wife duo. That's a whole thing. It's fun. Him and I actually just spoke at UVU this week together. It's the first time we did that type of setting together, and it was really fun. It was really, really just like it was so cool for me to let him shine too, and like hear what he felt was important, and not be the first one to say, "Well, this is what I think." I loved being able to sit back and let him shine. That was really, really a cool experience because I get so much of the credit and the visibility. Where, I mean, he was in the background in the weeds for a lot of Fawn, right? And he did a lot of letting me shine because he's always from day one saw how bright I was. And that's why I married him, is because he was someone in my life who really saw my too muchness as a good thing.
Yeah.
You know?
He got it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've made some really good choices. Not the least of which was deciding to be a guest on our podcast.
That was the most important thing I could this feels like the most important thing today. And I, as you know, right, I take my life serious. So when I say that, I mean it. Like, this was so important, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
A little secret I'll give you is, I mean, I know it's just a podcast and it's kind of fun and all of those things, but every time I get to participate in a podcast and I walk away, I feel like that's something that I've done that's really meaningful in a day. I never tell that to anybody. It's just internal, but it does provide such a...
You made my life so much better. You made my day so much better.
You did the same for me.
Dream team.
Jenny, okay. Next time.
Okay, yeah.
Fawn Design. Well, now do I say Jenny Wecker, formerly of Fawn Design?
No, because I'm still always going
still Fawn Design.
That's it. When you ask the question about my identity.
Yeah. How do you can't.
So we'll never say my title, my role will change, but Fawn lives here forever. It does.
Absolutely. Okay. This isn't goodbye. We're just taking a pause.
We're taking a pause because we could go all day, but not everyone else can. So
it's so true.
It's not us, actually.
It's so true. Well, stay tuned.
Okay.
We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. Thank you for listening to the Know Your Ship podcast presented by eHub. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review.